Hello, everyone. What a beautiful morning it is on the central coast of California. My name is Mariana, and I'm so excited to be here to celebrate California Biodiversity Week with you all. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to allow more people to tune in. But for now, I want you to enjoy this beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean. It's a little bit breezy, and hopefully I will use my loud voice so you can hear me clearly. It is such a beautiful morning. A little bit of overcast, but very clear for this area. Wow, so breathtaking. We have a lot of seabirds flying by. They might be little black dots on the screen. They're far away. Hopefully you can hear the waves crashing in the background. Give you another scan of my view from one of our trails. I'm really in awe of what a wonderful morning it is. It's been very hot lately on the central coast of California. But out here near the water, it's about a 10 to 20 degree difference than about 20 minutes inland. All right. Well, again, my name is Mariana, and I am a park interpreter specialist for California State Parks. So I work for this symbol on my hat. And I am so excited to be out here with you. One, because I get to be outside and get this wonderful view. And two, because I get to talk to you. I hope everyone's weekend has been amazing, that you've got to enjoy some of that hot weather. And I am in public, so I am wearing my mask to protect myself and to protect others. And it's been a very busy weekend for our state parks. I am currently located at Montaña de Oro State Park, which means Mountain of Gold. Montaña, mountain, means mountain. De Oro, of gold. So Mountain of Gold. And this state park gets its name because during the summer warm days, the hills turn gold. They get that light yellow brown from the dryness. It's a beautiful sight to see. And during the spring, the mountains get covered with a yellow flower called the sticky monkey flower. Maybe some of you know what that looks like. If I had it near me, I would show you. We also have a lot of the California poppy, our state flower. Can be seen all over the hills at Montaña de Oro State Park. This is one of the largest state parks and it has about 8,000 to 9,000 acres of land. And there is so much diversity here at this particular state park. And this week we are celebrating California Biodiversity Week. Woo! So exciting! California has many, many different types of plants and animals that call California home. And that is what biodiversity means, that there are many different types of organisms that live in a particular area. And here we have a lot of coastal animals and plants. Behind me directly, we have the ocean, which supports so much life. We have marine mammals. We have a kelp forest. And there are plenty of seabirds as well that you can see if you're looking out in the Pacific Ocean. And if a seabird flies close enough, I'll point that bird out. I think I saw just a western gull right behind me, but it didn't come close enough. Hopefully we get one wildlife sighting. And we have a lot of tide pools as well. I'm going to try to bring this closer to the edge. I am currently at the Bluff Trail. And I just want to give you a little glance of what our tide pools look like. There we go. And this supports a whole other type of ecosystem. We can see mussels if we were down there, sea anemones, crabs, snails. Those are just a few examples of some of the organisms or animals that live in the tide pool. So beautiful. Okay. Gonna move this back. All right. So for today's program, I thought we would do some nature sketching. And I love nature sketching. I think it's an awesome hobby to pick up. And you don't have to be an artist to participate in this activity or just to nature journal in general. It can be a really fun activity while you're outside. Even if you're just in your very own backyard, you can still nature sketch, which is pretty fascinating. I am by no means an artist, but I love to use nature sketching to make observations of my surroundings. And there are a lot of cool observations that I could make in this location. I'm going to give you a scan of what's behind the camera, and you can see some of the flowers or some of the coastal plants. You see a lot of yellow flowers. A lot of the plants have been dried up because it's been so hot and we haven't had rain. So it looks a little bit dry. And this is a great image of part of our coastline. Montaña de Oro State Park has about 7 miles of shoreline. There are a lot of people out enjoying this weather. But for nature sketching, you can really draw whatever you like, whether it be a plant, an animal, or just the landscape. I am going to mostly be focusing on the landscape today because it's just such a beautiful morning, and I think it'd be pretty cool to sketch it out. And we'll talk about why nature sketching can also be useful in the scientific community as well. And for nature sketching, we use a lot of our senses. So it can be touch, eyesight, hearing, even taste to help make some of our observations and write it down. I will mostly just be using my eyes and my ears for today's nature sketching program, but you can try out any of your other senses. And I definitely encourage you to do some nature sketching during this program as well. So go ahead and get a piece of paper and a writing device. I have a blank piece of paper and a pen. I'm just using a black ink pen, but a lot of people like to add color to their drawings, and I recommend doing that too. If you have some color pencils, markers, get those out. It can help you describe what you are seeing. Just want to give you a little bit more time looking at the beautiful ocean before you look at my sketching. And let's take a moment to see what we can hear. You might not be able to hear too much from how far away. So I'll give us about 15 seconds to try to just listen to the waves. Maybe close your eyes so you can feel as if you're here with me right now, looking out into the beautiful sea. All right, it's been about 10 seconds. I heard the wind. Ooh, there's a bird. Hopefully you can get it. Look at that, did you see it? That was a western gull. That is a type of seabird. Maybe some of you have seen it where you live. A lot of people call it just a seagull because it is a type of gull that lives near the sea, but its common name is the western gull. And you can identify a western gull by the red dot on its beak. That is one way that you can identify it. Making some observations right there. But I could hear the wind. I can feel the wind from here. But I can also hear the waves of the ocean. I could hear far in the distance some birds, some seabirds. Those are just a few observations I made using my hearing sense. And now let's take about 10 seconds to just look out. I'm going to point us in this direction and use our eyesight. What do we see? Let's try to make some observations using our eyes. Give us about 10 seconds here. All right. Maybe you noticed some geology formations. I can see the cliff here. Kind of makes me curious of how that formed. I see some more really far out there. And there's some really cool geologic formations on the other side. There's some caves, it looks like. Whoa. I notice different colors. See a lot of brown. I saw yellow earlier when we were looking at the other direction. I noticed from this view, there's some what looks like plants in the water. Far in the distance, maybe. I see there are a lot of different colors in the rocks as well. Those are some wonderful observations. Nice. And that's one thing I really like about nature sketching is just being able to take a moment to be present, to stop, take a deep breath, and be mindful of the space that I'm in. It's a pretty wonderful experience to be a part of. If you're always rushing through the day, you might miss some of these awesome observations that we just made. Just taking a step back to relax and look, hear, smell. It's what I really like about nature sketching. All right, well, I think we should get onto our piece of paper and pen and work out some nature journaling and nature sketching. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a seat and I will point the camera down so you can see what I'm writing down, what I'm writing. But I'll also make sure to lift up the camera so you can get more views of the ocean. But maybe if you want to join me, you can draw what you're seeing through your computer, your screen, or you can choose to get an item from your house, outside your house, and do your own nature journaling experience. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt you down. Hello there. Okay, I have my piece of paper. I think I might need to go like this. All right. So I have my blank piece of paper. So for nature journaling and nature sketching, I'm also going to actually back up. Okay, that's better. I'm going to start off with writing the date. So today is September 7th. I'm going to write that down on the corner. That way I know what day I did this. Really hard to see, I'm writing kind of small. I'll write bigger. And then I'm going to write the location that I'm in. So if I ever want to go back to this location and maybe do another sketching, I can refer back to this image and know where I was. So I am currently again at Montaña de Oro State Park. And I am on the Bluff Trail. There are a lot of different trails here. So it might get confusing. If I just wrote Montaña de Oro State Park, I might not know exactly where I was. Because just like I said, this is one of the largest state parks. Could have been anywhere. So I'm going to write Bluff Trail. And I'm also going to say that I came from the Coon Creek parking lot. So that way I even know more. Because this trail is about 2 miles long. And there's 2 different entrances as well. So I'm going to write Coon Creek parking lot. And if you have a GPS on your phone, you could even include the coordinates so you know exactly where you were when you decided to do some nature sketching. And people who are in the scientific community doing research on maybe a particular animal or looking for a plant, they'll include those GPS coordinates so they know exactly where they saw that animal or plant. And that helps keep track of where things have been. Maybe a plant used to be found in one area and over time it has disappeared. And that's pretty curious, right? Why would it have disappeared? And scientists can start creating hypotheses or guesses of why that plant might not be found in that area anymore. And there's a lot of reasons why that might happen, why a plant or an animal might no longer be in a location that it used to be. It could be human disturbance. There's too many humans changing or too many human interactions, maybe with the environment, and that animal didn't like that there were strangers all the time, so it moved its home. For a plant, it could be because a plant range could be shortened because we decided to construct on that land. Can't survive if there's buildings right on top of it. So that's why it's very important to know the location of where you're doing your nature journaling or nature sketch. I do not have the coordinates, but that's okay. I'm writing where I am right now. So after I have the date and I have the location, I'm gonna say the time that I was here. It's 10:20 a.m. I'm gonna say 10:20 a.m. and then I'm gonna write a little bit about the climate. It is a warm, sunny day. By warm, I mean it's almost, I think it's about 71 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty warm for this area this early in the morning. I see slight overcast, so I'm gonna make sure to mark that down as well. Slight overcast. And then I'm going to say that I could feel a slight breeze. So using some of my senses, like touch, that I wouldn't normally remember, I'm going to write that down in my nature sketching journal. I'm going to say a little bit of sea breeze. No, it's difficult to see what I'm writing. So hopefully this gives you ideas of what you can be writing. You can talk about what you're feeling right now and include that. Could just be saying that you're at home and it's pretty warm inside because it's warm outside. You can include whatever you would like. Just kind of describing what you're seeing. And then after we have all of this really important information so we can look back and know what we did on this particular day, I'm going to choose what to draw. I'm going to really focus on the landscape that I see. But sometimes I choose just a specific plant. So I think the plant's really cool, has bright colors. I might want to draw that and color it out. And the nice thing about maybe just bringing a pencil or pen when you're in the field is that you can always go back at home and color it in. So you don't have to spend a really long period of time nature sketching. You can do a really quick sketch and then go home and fill it out, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so I have the time. I wrote a little bit about the weather, the location, and the date. So now I'm gonna just be drawing the landscape. I might be drawing this caves that I see across me. So that's some really cool geologic formations that I'm curious about. Maybe I'll go back home and do some research on that. So I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna be focusing on. Give you an awesome view, and I'll talk about my sketch. So I want you to be able to perhaps sketch the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Well, I definitely see a lot of cool rock formations. I am not the best drawer, but I like to draw because it is a way for me to really get to know my surroundings. So I'm going to really quickly draw the outline first. Of what I'm seeing. I notice on the top, it's very dry, kind of dark brown. Because I don't have colors, I'm just gonna write down that I see dry brown plants. I know a few of those plants, so I'm gonna include that in my writing. But if you don't know them, you just write plants. I'm gonna write down also that it might be brown because it's been dry. There has been little rain and it's been hot. And then I noticed that some of the rocks have layers in them. How cool is that? I wonder why there's layers. What could that mean? And I definitely encourage you to write questions about your drawing, trying to understand. You know, always go back to this and do some research on the internet, or you can go to your local library and get some books about the area as well. I definitely see a lot of layers. Maybe that has to do with time, maybe erosion. Rocks change over time, their shapes do. Maybe because of rain, wind, and definitely because, at least for the rocks here, those ocean waves. Those ocean waves must be pretty harsh on the rocks, taking a little bit material every time the waves crash into the rock. And isn't it amazing how people from all over the world have come here and walked on this land? Maybe a lot of people have been where you are. You didn't get to know that. That'd be some really cool research to look into, how your land was used. Maybe you had some Native Americans use your land. You can find out what type of tribes were located there. We had a lot of Native Californians use this area. They fed on the shellfish, used the water. We also had, this land was also used by ranchers. There was a dairy farm on here at one point. So fascinating. Just gonna do a couple more sketches. Again, mine's a landscape one, not too not too specific to any type of organism or anything. I do notice that I see a fence. It might be difficult to see from your view, but And I'm going to quickly label everything that I drew. I'm writing down there are a lot of layers in the rock. I'm writing down where my sea caves are, that there's plants on the top, there's some fencing. And I'm going to talk about colors. I see white, tan, gray. I see almost an orange color as well in some portions of it. All right. Are you ready to see my nature sketch? I'm hearing some yeses. So here we go. This is my version of a portion of the cliffs that you see out there. Not the best. Mine are mostly lines and some coloring in. Oops. Lift it up a little bit more. So I kind of drew only a small portion of what I saw. And I saw some sea caves, so I labeled it and I colored in to make it darker. And I can go back later on when I'm at home and really color it in to capture what I saw. And I wrote down the colors as well. So right here, I wrote down white, tan, gray. And then I wrote some orangish color right here because that's where I saw a lot of orange. And I saw a fence. So I put some posts up there. And then I drew these lines up here to show that they were plants. I can't see exactly what those plants look like because it's so far away, but I labeled them. Said dry brown plants because of heat, little rain. So this is my nature sketch, and I wrote that there's layers in the rocks. That's my interpretation of what I saw. And again, this is all my labeling, the date. And that is my nature sketch for today. Ooh, I can hear a western gull. It is speaking. Okay. Well, that concludes really our nature sketching for today. I hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend. They get to enjoy this 3-day weekend for Memorial Weekend. And that it's a beautiful day for you to venture outside safely and responsibly, maintaining that 6 feet distance between you and another individual, and wearing your mask when you're out in public, and spending some time to be present and in the moment. Taking a few seconds out of your day to really focus on your senses, your eyesight, hearing, touch. What are you feeling? And maybe you can write about it. We would love to see your awesome nature sketching or some of your artwork. So if you would like to show us, you can post it on our Facebook pages or on your Facebook page and tag us at Hearst San Simeon State Park or at Morro Bay State Parks. Those are our 2 locations, and we would love to see your beautiful artwork. So go ahead and show us. And again, my name is Mariana, and I hope that you had a lovely experience with me, and that there are going to be so many other awesome programs like this, especially this week, because we are celebrating California Biodiversity Week. And you can check out some of those programs on our YouTube page, which is where you are seeing this video, at the San Luis Obispo Coast District. And there are some awesome, cool programs that we have scheduled for you this week. And I hope that I will be seeing you in the future. So again, have a lovely rest of your day. and enjoy the weather that we have right now. All right. Goodbye.